Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Vortex, where lies and falsehoods are trapped and exposed. I'm Michael Voris. Why are Trump supporters so upset at the current goings-on? Why are they showing up at state capitol rallies by the thousands all over the country, angry that this election has gone the way it has? Why are so many, including church militant, descending on Washington, D.C. this weekend, specifically Saturday at noon, for the Million MAGA March at the Freedom Plaza to let their grievances be known? Because they are aggrieved, and they are aggrieved because a tremendous injustice has been perpetrated on them. Massive voter fraud on an industrial scale has been committed through not just ballot harvesting, not just the vote dumps in the middle of the night, not just the unsupervised counting, but most importantly, fraud committed through the computing software assigning the vote tallies, stealing from Trump and assigning them to Biden. This would explain why Republicans were dominant everywhere on election night, in every race across the country, on every level of government, except the presidential race. This boils down ultimately to a question of justice, taking something from another that by right belongs to them, or refusing to give a person what is rightfully theirs, is an offense against justice. Justice is one of the four cardinal virtues and is directed to God and man, the greatest and second greatest commandments. Justice on earth is not a neutral issue. Fallen humanity's inclination is toward injustice, toward lying and cheating. Left unchecked, this is how human beings tend. As Bishop Sheen said, God has created another world to correct the injustices of this one. But that ultimate reality does not absolve us from our duty to do justice in this life. It's why justice must be fought for and fought hard for. To sit out the fight for justice is to suffer eternal damnation. You cannot say you love God and neighbor and not give to each what is due, worship to God and human rights to your neighbor. The Marxist left has created an art form out of dressing up injustice to look like justice. It even co-opted the word as one of its rallying cries, social justice. The Marxists subvert justice by denying the right to life to the unborn, inverting it into a right to choose, for example. This is a grievous offense against both God and man, and their list of foul perversions extends throughout the land, executed by fellow travelers in the media, the courts, legislatures, higher education, and so forth. In the name of justice, they champion injustice. And in the current case of the election theft, they are on the verge of pulling off. They desire absolute power to institute absolute injustice. But deep down, within the hearts and souls of men of goodwill, they intuit some foul deed is afoot. A great industrial-sized injustice, the theft of an entire election, the canceling out of perhaps millions of votes, the highest form of canceling that a cancel culture could engage in. Men of goodwill must join in this fight for justice. It is a spiritual war, something recognized not only by President Trump, but those in his orbit. Well, do you think somebody in there sort of sees this election as not just an election, but also a big like a giant spiritual war, and there's a sort of a battle of good and evil going on besides just red and blue?
Well, I will tell you, I mean, I see it that way just because of what I see happening around the country. And so it really is a battle between good and evil, because I think you have those that believe in the Constitution and preservation of the Republic versus those that are pushing just for flat out anarchy.
Because obviously where the left is going, and I called them liberals or the left, they're really socialists, they're Marxists. This is what we ought to really call it what it is. What they want to do is to force people of faith to violate their canons.
Every single decent man and woman in America must commit themselves to justice, in person, if at all possible, but unreservedly in prayer. Justice for our nation and church is the intention of the 9-day novena Church Militant is in the midst of. By all means, please join us live for that novena every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern. But also, Add justice for the nation and the church to your daily rosary intentions, specifically praying for justice. The forces of darkness are on the verge of overwhelming a nation that admittedly has permitted much evil. But as Abraham bargained with the Lord God to spare the city if there was a certain number of righteous men inside, stand up now and be among those righteous men. Righteous men demand justice throughout the land, in every age, in every place, and they do so because God is just. And as a quick reminder, our updated programming schedule starting Monday will be as follows. During the weekdays, we will have Vortex and post-election specials, and as warranted, not on a strict schedule, we will have interviews and special reports. A lot going on, so stay with us here at Church Militant and stay informed. God love you. I'm Michael Voris.